Welcome to another cool case from Antec. Short, isn't it? Now today we're going to talk about Antec NX410 WHITE version, and it comes with a shock because if I'm not mistaken, and I think I'm not, this is the first case that has on front two 140mm fans, and you have one 120 at the rear. So this combination I haven't seen so far in an Antec case. Of course, it comes in white and black version, but still, I haven't seen any of their other cases having this kind of fan configuration. But nevertheless, they are RGB. You can control the LEDs on top. You just have to plug in at the back the SATA power to your power supply and control the lights as you wish, or you could just simply turn them off. It's all up to you if you like the slick white design and everything else. So we have quite interesting case right here because it's, let's say, not fully ventilated, but it has a completely open meshed front. It doesn't have a dust filter additionally to block air. At the top we have a magnetic dust filter, which as you can see it's quite easy to remove. And since we're talking at the top, now fan and radiator support is actually quite, I wouldn't say strange, but here we go. On front you can place 360, 280 or 240. You get to 140, so basically if you're going with a 360 on front, you either have to remove those and place them on top or do something else, it doesn't matter. But on top, it literally needs 1 more centimeter of clearance, and the blockage happens from the IO ports on top. Because I tried placing the EK-AIO 280D RGB without the push-pull combination, of course only 2 fans, and unfortunately 1 centimeter is missing to place the 280 on top. Maybe from a different manufacturer, maybe it could fit, but you know, who knows. Nevertheless, I placed Antec Vortex 240 addressable RGB AIO that fits perfectly, of course, and logical, right? But what I did is I switched the black fusion fans that come with Vortex and placed the white ones. Now you can also check out the white ones in 5-pack version, so this is something new, and I'll have a separated video just for that. Now, let's speed things up. You can place ITX, micro ITX and ATX motherboards inside. You have a possibility, if you go with a 120mm fans, you can place 2 on the power supply shroud, 3 on front, 2 at the top and 1 at the rear. If you go with 140, you can go with 2 on front and 2 on top. The rest is still 120. You have a black rimmed tempered glass, and usually I say I really don't like mixing colors when we're talking about black rims on the tempered glass and the whole white chassis. But what they did is they placed this latch right here, which is fully white. And the cool thing about it is that in these terms, when we take this into consideration, the white latch, the black rims, the white case, kind of breaks the singularity of one color going inside the whole chassis, which is cool. And then, because there rarely are fully white graphic cards and fully white motherboards, you do get like black parts on the graphic card, black parts on the motherboard, like PCB boards and stuff like that, or green, but that rarely happens. And you basically can go with the black and white, well, monochromatic color scheme if you go with something to perfectly place in your setup. But okay, let's skip that part. At the back we have loads of space for cable management, which is cool, and in the power supply shroud you have loads of space for I would say at least 200mm power supply. You have also a hard drive cage where you could place either 2 3.5-inch hard drives or 1 hard drive and 1 2.5-inch SSD or 2 2.5-inch SSDs. It all depends on your configuration and if you even go with that kind of storage still. At the back there's a possibility to place 1 more 2.5-inch SSD, and I think that's quite alright. You could manage 2 additional 2.5-inch SSDs on the side, but I think it will be a tight fit when we're talking about the 140mm fans on front, but that's okay. So the cool thing is you push this lever off and you take off the tempered glass, quite easy to access everything. The installment is really straightforward. There's no fuss about placing the components, except if you want to really try and place the 280 on top, but then again You can go with 360 on front and that's it. Now for the thermals. In here we have AMD Ryzen 5 7600X and finally moving from 5600G. You might see one more video or a couple of those, but I think it's going to be 7600X from now on. So in Indigo Benchmark, and I used Indigo Benchmark to stress test the CPU, especially for the AMD Ryzen 5 76 and 7900X. So 78 degrees Celsius, and we already know that these thermals are normal. But if you go in AIDA 64 Extreme Edition, and if you take CPU, FPU, system memory and cache, you get 66, which is wow. And when we compare the thermals to the past processors in the past cases that I reviewed, 66 for this kind of processor that was supposed to be heating up is quite outstanding, especially on the 240. That's great. And for the graphic card, Sapphire Radeon RX 6650 XT Nitro Plus, 54 degrees Celsius. And I have to say that the fans, even though they're directly connected on SATA, most likely they aren't heard because of the 140 and they don't have high RPMs. So even though if they are running on 100%, they aren't that loud. So that's really cool, and I do have to say, really nice. So great airflow, outstanding performance when we're talking about processor and the GPU. Quite nice design, really nice final finish, all straightforward. There's no fuss, easy to remove the front panel, even though it has crocodile clips, but I personally don't like them. But they are not that opened up from the inside, so you can fairly easy, but yet it holds firmly, remove the front panel and clean the front panel up if you don't want to clean it on your PC. Unfortunately, when you remove the front panel, there isn't any space to place the fans between the front chassis and the front panel, which would give us more space for a longer graphic card. And finally, some specification. The case is made out of SPCC and ABS. Front access and controls, we have power LED control button. We have one USB 3.0, two USB 2.0 and HD audio, two 3.5mm jacks. One is for a microphone and one is for your headset. Side tempered glass, 7 expansion slots. We have possibility to place 3 2.5-inch SSDs. Maximum clearance for the GPU is 335mm. So basically that's when the front fans are placed. If you place a radiator that is 27mm of thickness, then we have 308mm of clearance for the GPU. Maximum CPU height 168mm, which is quite outstanding, and PSU support, it says 165, but if you remove the hard drive cage you can really go up to 200 without any issues. Basically that's it. I'm really satisfied as always basically with Antec cases in this price category and with the final finish and everything that you get with this chassis. Well, in general, Antec, especially the new AIO, really does cool great, even if it's 240. And the cool thing, we have white fusion fans now as well. But we'll get to that part later on in the future videos. So in that terms, don't forget to subscribe if you're new to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss that video out. And well, what's there left to say? Thanks for watching, hope you have a good one and see you next time. Bye bye.